Good morning. This is Brother T from the Led by the Lord channel. This morning I want to speak on the book of James. The book of James is a general epistle, apostolic letter. James, the half-brother of Jesus, wrote it approximately 48 to 49 AD. It was likely the first New Testament book letter to be written. Key personalities of this book are James and the persecuted Christians. James wrote this book to Jewish believers to encourage them to endure and live bold Christian lives. James is a book about practical Christian living that reflects a genuine faith that transforms lives in many ways. It's similar to the Old Testament book of Proverbs. Proverbs, a book, teaches us how to live Christianly lives. In chapter 1, James teaches believers to test their faith, prove themselves doers of the word. James encourages believers to put their faith into action and to be the servant of Jesus Christ. We can have all the faith, but if we don't put it into action, we're sitting on our faith. Faith requires movement. It requires our hands and our feet doing something to show the faith that we possess. Chapter 3, James describes a relationship between faith and work. He teaches that a person of faith without works demonstrates useless faith. So if we're not using it, it's useless. We're not using it. What good is a person's faith if they don't present it to the world? So we need to present our faith to the world. Show the world that we do have faith through our actions. And believers' good works are evidence of their faith in Jesus Christ. He also teaches that everyone is a sinner and that if one of the 10 commandments are broken, then the person is guilty of breaking every one of them. For whoever keeps the whole law and yet stumbles in one point, he has become guilty of all. It's almost like a sin is a sin. It's no little sin or a little white lie. Or a sin is a sin. In chapter 4 through 5, James gives wise instruction to believers. He said, submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. So if we resist the devil, he will flee and he will look for someone else to try to entice. A faithful believer will desire to follow hard after God in service, obedience, and prayer. In the last chapter, James stresses the weight and the magnitude of prayer for every believer. He uses the words prayer. We know how important prayer is. Prayer changes things. And he mentions it 7 times, signifying its importance. Very important. Prayer is very important. In the final verse of his book, James expresses the magnitude of living faith in action, saying, my brethren, if any among you strays from the truth, and one turns him back, let him know that he who turns a sinner from the error of his ways will save his soul from death and will cover a multitude of sins. So we know that the book of James is leading and guiding us to live Christian lives. As the book of Proverbs, it's very similar to the Old Testament book of Proverbs. So let's go about our day treating others and being Christian-like, acting Christian-like, walking Christian-like, talking Christian-like, seeing Christian-like, hearing Christian-like, doing all things Christian-like. And this is Brother T from the Led by the Lord channel saying, pray for me and I'll pray for you. Amen.